Hey everybody, this is Doing Lines. This is the sports betting podcast where we bet on all the not sports and some of the sports-ish sports of sports. I'm your host, Kyle Ayers, joined as always by my co-host, Austin Huff.
Can I go full disclosure? Full disclosure, this is the second time we've introed this
Yes,
podcast
the
because
first time
Kyle, he
Yes.
introed his other podcast, Never Seen It, which I highly suggest you
true.
go listen, rate, review, subscribe, do all of
That's
the
true.
things because it's a fantastic podcast. And a lot of you that listen to this podcast probably discovered this podcast through that podcast.
Yeah.
Fans of that, which we appreciate you making the jump over.
Yeah.
But Kyle just introduced this podcast as Never Seen It, and I
did.
feel like I've been cheated on almost. Like I
All
feel
the
like I
way
walked
through.
in on you hooking up with your ex, Kyle.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know
Well,
how to
the
feel
difference
about
between that one and this one is that one financially supports me.
it. That's fair.
So
fair. Okay, well, you know what? I wish I
Oh,
had
man.
never seen it. How about that?
Well, I wish I had never heard it. The beginning.
We should do Never Seen It. We should do Never Seen It Sports Edition where we just like rewrite games that we've never seen.
Okay, so I know who wins this one. Well, hey, if this is your first time listening, how this works is we come up with some kind of fake, pretty ridiculous bets based on pop culture, based on the events. How many times will Taylor Swift be there? Is there going to be more shots of this or penalties on this thing? Will more birds win or cats? You know what I mean? Things like that. We have a good time, fun bets.
Kyle
ridiculous
broke his
bets.
foot one time, and and he was betting whether Matt Stafford would be sacked more times than pounds gained sitting on the couch all weekend.
Yeah. And I mean, I was looking like David Carr numbers when that when that broke foot situation was over.
Yeah.
Your boy was putting on pounds like David Carr was retiring earlys. Even Andrew Luck told me to keep it down, keep the numbers down, or you're going to be done early. Anyways, we got some ridiculous bets this week, but I want to recap a little bit about what happened last week. Austin, last week at NFL Week 12, Jeff Cesario was on here playing for Prius Anonymous. Jeff lost $500. So now you have to put a label on the back of your Prius that says you are correct. This is a Prius.
Yeah,
he lost
now
so much money.
owes. Yeah, he owes Prius Anonymous. He actually has to expose himself if he is in Prius.
The problem
Anonymous.
is with that $500, that gas money will take him so far he can outdrive anyone trying to come chase him down for that $500. That he could drive to the tip of Chile with that $500.
He could flee the country. He could drive to Asia
slowly.
Don't ask
but
me how.
He could wait out the ice bridge. That's how long he could idle in Alaska.
He is helping to save the universe.
So he lost $500. You made $100 last week. Or no, I'm sorry. No, you didn't. You lost $1,100. Sorry that I said
so
it like
much.
that.
That was so mean.
Once again, I
that
read
was
it wrong.
so mean.
Your running total, you are at 100.
So
for the
we
year.
threw up the full leaderboard on Corked Bats socials this week at Corked Bats. It's Corked spelled with a K. And so if you want to check out like previous guests who where they rank and everything, you can see it there. And on it there is a tally of Kyle and I's score, and it is so embarrassing.
It is $3,050 to $100. I'm winning.
It was close like 2 weeks ago. That's the thing that pisses me off.
I think that
I was like a couple $100 behind you.
Can I tell you what the bad beat of this week was? So we had some bets on Black Friday. We had some bets about turkeys, which was how many birds could win, which we all hit. We had 4 birds won. 5 actually. The only bird that lost was the Cardinals, with the Falcons 4, 3. I don't know how many won, but enough. Austin got to see a lot of touchdowns hosting his. There were a lot of like pretty standard wins this week. The bad beat this week was the Chiefs only had 1 drop. It was Rashee Rice.
That I cannot believe. Like,
there was a pass that Patrick Mahomes had a bad pass to Rashee Rice that hit him, and I was like, meh. And it's not a drop. This is like, you know what a drop is a drop when you see a drop. So Rashee Rice had 1 drop. No one else had any. And it turns out when all of your receivers get hurt and you can only play running backs.
Yeah.
There you go. So my bad beat of the week is over under 1.5 drops for the Chiefs. The under hitting, and that cost Austin $1,200.
I hate everything. Honestly.
We go pretty long with Jono, so I want to get right into it because, spoiler alert, someone dies on our podcast.
Hey, who is it? Who is it? You gotta stay tuned to find out.
It's a real cliffhanger. We're really jumping the shark into Cambodia. And
It's a real kiss hanger.
All right, we're going to get right into it. We got some fun bets this week, so we don't want to linger too long, talk about last week, because we want to get right into it with Jono Zalay. I hope you guys enjoy. Joining us today, a very funny stand-up comedian, a fan of the formerly San Diego, now no longer a fan of the in Los Angeles Chargers. Jono Zalay is here. Thank you so much for being here, Jono.
Great to be here. Thank you for having me.
You are one of the people the Chargers claim didn't exist.
Yeah, you and Bolt, man.
Man, it was really fascinating to see because like when the Chargers moved up to LA, they claimed like, well, a good quarter of our fan base already lives in LA. And I was and then like they of course spurned the other 75% of their fan base that lived in San Diego. But what they didn't factor in was that the 25% of the fans that lived in LA already were probably from San Diego and hated that they moved up there. Like me, like I was a fan who lived in LA and then they moved here and now I hate them actively. My favorite team is whoever is playing them.
Yeah, it's so fun to always recap them chargering games away. Sort of like I'm just like, man, Jono's out there shrugging somewhere. He's like giving like the Michael Jordan to the bench shrug at the TV as another field goal goes and misses or something like that.
Yeah. Well, did you know like the first year they actually did move to LA, my friend Justin Halpert and I did a podcast where we recapped games and it was called Fuck the Chargers.
Yes. I think that they may be cursed. I do think they might like actually be an actual curse.
Oh,
there
yeah.
Might be an actual curse.
Yeah, if the curse was like a light curse, they just like nailed the coffin shut when they moved to LA. It's just like they'll never win, and it's kind of fun.
I don't think they're going to win until they return home to Carson.
Carson.
Yeah.
When they can go back to a stadium that can fit all of their 300 fans and maybe one section of their home stadium.
I went to the Chiefs-Chargers game in the temporary year.
Yeah.
And you I would say it was probably, what's there, like 3,500 people there.
Yeah.
And it was probably 3,100 Chiefs fans. And then probably 445 Raiders fans. And then 35 Colin Kaepernick jerseys. And then 15 Chargers fans. There were more people just in athleisure wear than Chargers gear. Like just straight up, you know what I mean? Just in like Lululemon than there was any Chargers gear.
There was more actual Chargers wearing Chargers gear than Chargers fans.
Yeah.
And then it was that was like Kareem Hunt's like second game, and he had like this huge. It's just you would just hear like the players be like, yeah, like he scored and you heard him be like, fuck yeah.
Everyone's mic'd up in that stadium.
It really is. The acoustics were perfect because it was it's like when you hear you're in those booths where you can hear your own heartbeat and you go crazy.
Yeah, it's like sensory deprivation.
Yeah, that's what it is. We're all in a sensory deprivation tank.
Yeah.
The only thing I like about the Chargers now is, well, besides that they lose in hilarious fashion to the Chiefs every single year.
Yeah, right. I was gonna say, as a division rival, I'm sure you love a lot of things about the Chargers right now.
It's so fun to go to the games now at the Giants Stadium, and it's 75,000 away fans, and the few Chargers fans are just like, yeah, we know. Like last year at the game, the Chargers scored to go ahead with about 90 seconds left, and no one cheered. Chiefs fans were like, so you're gonna give them a minute and a half?
You fools. They already had pity for them.
But I'm rewatching King of the Hill right now, and firmly Justin Herbert looks like a King of the Hill character.
Yeah, no, that is a great depiction.
He has like Boomhauer eyes.
Right. And Josh Heupel, the head coach of the Tennessee Vols, looks like Bobby from King of the Hill.
Yes, he does.
So, yeah.
There's a lot of tired face.
Yeah. Double chin, tired face.
Well, hey, I do have a Chargers bet for you this week. Here's how this is going to work. Thank you so much for being here. We'll place all of our bets down, and then you get to allocate your $1,000 however you'd like. We already let you know one of them is a lock, and to please bet on more than one. The only thing that we ask of you is, because all of us are extremely wealthy is the way that we like to think about it. I mean, look at you. You had enough money to have someone come in and blur your home.
That's incredible. That's not even a filter. That's just how his home looks now.
That's like someone paint like those crazy paintings that look like cartoons in real life. We asked that everyone bring a charity they'd like to play for. We don't want anyone hoarding the wealth. Is there a charity you'd like to play for this week?
Yes, actually, and sort of in honor of San Diego, but also I don't want my charity is guac is extra for the cure. And I don't feel ashamed in admitting that I am one of the possibly dozens of people that is allergic to avocado.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I've been raised in San Diego. This was a real problem for me growing up, and my brother as well. Basically, my whole family. It's genetic. And what we do, and it's cursed our whole lives. We're eating burritos. We have to bite in cautiously before we see if they actually listen to our no avocado or no guac thing. And every green salsa is like, am I taking my life in my hands? So because of that, every time we're trying to raise money, like when someone orders guac and it is extra, we want to put that extra towards research to finding a cure for avocado allergies, so we can enjoy all those guacamoles with all of you.
I think it's great.
Yeah, I think it's a great cause. My wife is also one of those people who is allergic to avocados. Yeah, and
crazy.
Which look, I love the cause, and I think it's great that what you're doing. However, whenever she gets guac, I get it. So if there's ever a cure, I won't get the guac.
Right. Austin is playing for his charity called Suppress the Information that there's now a cure for the allergies.
I'm gonna totally Aaron Rodgers the science behind your cure. Yeah. I'm just gonna be like, yeah, it's fake.
You're just gonna tell everyone that she got immunized for the avocado allergy, but not actually vaccinated. Which he's back at practice today, Aaron Rodgers. I like him that he's like, you know what? Actually, I want to really end my career this year. Let's get this guy out on the MetLife Stadium's notoriously beautiful traction and let him run around.
Oh my God, that's right. Leg. That's like the stadium that has killed more knees than just the Jimmy Hoffa that's buried beneath it.
Yeah, I think that stadium is still a little behind Minnesota's old Metrodome as far as knees ripped apart, but it's close.
Oh. They also have two, so it's
I don't know, guys. Have you heard the dolphin sex noises though? I mean, I had a hangnail earlier, and I was listening to some on Spotify. It actually it's my number 3 artist on my Spotify Wrapped this year is dolphin sex noises, and my hangnail completely gone. So maybe, and I don't know if that's because I chewed it off or because of the dolphin sex noises, but I'm going with the latter.
Probably the DSN.
I hear dolphin sex noises, but just in the sensory deprivation chamber. That's just what I make when I'm there by myself.
Honestly, maybe that is the cure to avocado allergy.
Maybe.
Oh, I'd know if it was. I'd know.
If there is a cure for avocado allergy, it will be only at Air One. It will be there. It will be $194, and you'll have to get it there. Well, let's. Okay, I think that's a great cause. I think. In my head, up until this year or last year, you were going to be playing for the buyout Eric Hosmer Foundation.
Now we're the please God keep Soto on our team for one more year.
Buy in any of our guys.
The Peter Seidler, let's convince his children to keep spending money on players.
The San Diego, can we please not just look this good on paper this year? Cause the Padres really slid right into the Chargers with that whole absolutely wild thing.
That curse really rubbed off on them when they played in the same stadium together for so long.
I can't believe we did that all. Well, here we go. I got 3 bets. Austin has 3 bets. We'll lay all 6 out, and then you can let us know which one you want to bet what for.
All right.
My first bet is mine are pretty simple this week actually, because Austin is long-winded. Is the easiest way to put it. To the point where people
radio, baby.
We have had Zoom trials run out, Our 40 minutes is frequently up.
And that was just on one bet too.
Yeah, so we want to do this. So I'll do mine real quick. My first bet: the Chiefs play the Packers this week. I tried to keep it pretty simple with this one. Over under 1.5 mentions of Super Bowl I.
Oh.
So the way I'm thinking about this is, if I said they played in the first Super Bowl, and you said they played in the first Super Bowl, and then I showed a graphic, that's once.
Okay. So like one continuous,
Yes. Something has to happen in between, and it has to be brought back up. So
right.
I think that it's Sunday Night Football, and they're either like super graphics heavy or they're like very basic. So you never know what you're gonna get with them, whether you're gonna be like 75 graphics of Travis Kelce at a concert done in a crazy cartoon, or if they're not even gonna mention it at all. So I got over under 1.5 mentions of Super Bowl I.
Do we know if Taylor Swift is going to be in attendance this weekend?
I don't know. Well, it's tough to tell. We have to see how the temperature is going to be at her other concerts, and if the pretty crazy how much betting was affected by the water distribution of a Chilean concert venue.
What if she's just trying to hit both extremes and like someone at the Packers game this weekend dies because they're too cold?
They're like, I have too much water. They're frozen like in an ice cube. Like there's too. Can someone dry me out?
Yeah.
So that's my first one. Over under 1.5 mentions Super Bowl. My second one is this is week 13. There's also 13 games. One of the few weeks where there's as many games as there are. The week it is.
That's the golden week for the NFL.
Yes. Good for them. This one I call 13 going on 30. Will there be more teams to score 30 and above, or more teams that score 13 and below this week?
Oh, I love that.
13 going on 30.
So 13 and below, or
13
30
and below,
and above.
or 30 and above.
Wow, that's a great.
And is that, are you combining both of those? Like if anyone goes over 30 or under 13, like
No, in
goes
between
towards
is
the total?
nothing.
Yeah, so
I'm just asking you, will there be more people who score 12 or 31?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Ooh,
So do we have more 30 and above or more 13 and below? I will let you know the Jets play. So that if that affects anything. So what are you more into? Teenagers? Or we call this one the Karl Malone. Are you going for over 30 or under 13?
Yeah. Who's that? Who's that guy for the Thunder right now?
Except he's never gone over 30. This is a guy who's never scored his own age in points or people.
Josh Giddey, who's currently under.
You really can't have the name of a Law and Order SVU villain if you're going to be doing stuff like this. Josh Giddey. That's like what they would name the guy in the episode. That's obviously the Subway guy episode.
I think he changed his name to Giddey to attract teenage girls.
His name was Anthony Ice Cream Truck. Anyways, so that's my second one. 13 going on 30. Absolutely wild story that if that guy played anywhere other than Oklahoma City, people would be talking about a lot more. But he plays in Oklahoma City, and they're like, oh, yeah, Josh is Josh. Yeah. It's like the place where they're like, that's how he is. And by the place that's like that, I mean the stand-up comedy community.
Yeah, Oklahoma City is one of those cities where it's frowned upon there.
All right, next and final one. This one is going to be somewhat subjective because, Jono, you're going to have to let me know whether or not this one hits. Will the Chargers charger this game this weekend?
Ooh.
That's a yes. No.
You know what's crazy is it's a know it when you see it, right?
Yeah.
You know it when you see it. Will they be ahead by 10 and lose? Will they miss an open
lose by
bet?
one score?
Will they lose? Will the Chargers charger? There's no. This is one of my few bets that does not have an explicit measurable.
Oof.
Will the Chargers charger this game away this weekend? They are playing the Patriots, which inherently ups the charger ability of it.
I know,
because it downs the likelihood.
Epic. Yeah, like it'd be a more chargering than any chargering this year.
Mm-hmm.
But and the Patriots are historically very good against them, but this is their one bad year where they don't even know which quarterback they're going to start, and not because of injury.
Quarter to quarter.
Yeah.
No,
that's gonna be a tough one.
Will the Chargers charger? So I got the Super Bowl mentions, 13 going on 30, and will the Chargers charger this game away? Which once again we'll just check in with you after the game.
maybe the Chargers were waiting for Apple to change their Chargers before they changed their head coach.
I'm waiting for a hook to come into screen and pull you off. You guys hear about this?
Folks,
I haven't seen a worse fit Chargers since
USB-C. The C stands for Chargers.
U.S. Bank Field. That's nothing. All right, so those are my three. All right, I have a complete empty page to write Austin's. All
right.
Here we go.
Kyle, I think you might be proud of me this week. But Jono, both of you guys are comedians. You make your career in comedy. And so I feel like, look, I don't want to tell you guys how to do your jobs. But I do have suggestions as someone who enjoys comedy and sits in the audience for many comedies. You guys should try out this joke on stage sometime. It's whenever a word ends in ER, you just add on hardly knower. All right, so I call this one the hardly knower bet. Okay, there are, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 games this weekend featuring a team that ends in ER. Okay, so we're gonna find out. Do we hardly know her?
You know what was crazy was remember that time DeMar Hamlin's game ended in ER?
Damn.
And it used to be the CBS night game would always end in ER. It would lead right into it. Try and keep that audience over there for George.
Yeah, the NBC.
NBC.
Oh,
I don't even know what network it's on. There's no way CBS would show
Sunday
blood.
night game. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Anyways.
do the surprisingly there are no hardly knowers playing each other. They are all going up against a non-hardly knower. So over under 3.5 wins of those 6 games. Do we know her or do we hardly know her? That's what we need to find out. So you got Chargers, Patriots, Cardinals, Steelers, hardly know her. Dolphins, Commanders, hardly know her. Panthers, Buccaneers. Oh, wait, Panthers, hardly know her. Buccaneers, 49ers, hardly knowers. Eagles, Chiefs, Packers, hardly knowers. All right? Over under 3.5 wins of those games.
This was better than your one a couple of years ago, which was hardly no skins.
Yeah, I could only do it for one team. That was a difficult bet.
So how many of these teams win, is what you're saying?
Yeah. Of the ER teams, yes.
Over under what number?
3.5. 3.5.
Hardly no.
Okay.
That was when the charity was for giving out condoms to underage kids.
Yeah, they put the hardly no thun to her.
My next bet is I have a almost 2-year-old daughter. We're about 3 weeks away from her 2nd birthday. And so I thought, you know what, let's put this child to use and let's see how good she is at picking games. I was going to do the entire slate, but it was very hard wrangling her in just for some games. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. She picked 9 games, okay, where I just asked her what she picked. I got her on video saying it too, so it's very adorable, just for proof. She has the Seahawks over the Cowboys, the Titans over the Colts, the Saints over Lions, Packers over Chiefs. One idiot. Patriots over Chargers. She picked the Bengals over the Jaguars, but I think she thought I said bagels, and she wanted bagels for dinner tonight, so I think that's why she went.
The Bengals are also notoriously scooped this year and smeared.
They are cinnamon toast.
They don't call it scooping; they call it burrowing. There.
Yeah, right. The Cardinals. She picked the Steelers over the Cardinals, the Commanders over the Dolphins, and the Buccaneers over the Panthers. Now she only picked, I believe, 3 favorites of all of those games. So I'm going to set the over/under at 3.5. Does my daughter get over/under 3.5 games right? Probably not, because she is an idiot. And then lastly,
childhood luck though is always it's always the March Madness that just picks on the names that wins.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, every single time.
Right. She does love football though, which I'll give her credit, and I love that. She's I'm not going to break it down by months. I hate the parents that do that. She'll be 2 years old December 18th.
We still basically feel like so she's 0.21 decades old.
Yeah, right.
I don't want to break it down by months. I think it's too confusing. She's 804 days old.
I hate the parents that are like, my kid's 48 months old.
Oh,
It's like
I think
can you do that math
after
for
I
me?
would say after a year you can then say 18 months, and then once you're over 2 you just do decimals.
Yeah, like if she's over a year and a half, like she's almost 2. That's what I tell everyone.
You're a year and a half.
Yeah.
You're 18 months you could maybe say, but other than that, what are we doing?
Yeah, why do we have to get technical with it? It's I don't know. I think that I didn't read any of the parenting books, so that's probably like chapter 1 is always be technical about your child's age.
I think 18 pages in, or what do they call it, a chapter and a half.
My pop culture bet of the week. So I was scrambling for this one, so I went to the trending topics, and I found out that Henry Kissinger died. Now,
wait, what?
I'm gonna.
No.
Yeah.
Today?
I don't know. That's just what Twitter said, so it could be fake. But
That would be very.
I see. You guys had.
He died.
No.
He actually did. He's 100 years old.
He's
8
100
minutes
years
ago.
old.
This is the man who cannot die.
Yeah. Oh my God. I've been waiting my whole life for him to die, and he dies on the pod. And
Yeah,
you break
that's
the
so funny. I don't know. I'm like, man, this is Jono of all guests we have ever had. This is funny that he found out here because it's
You'll always remember where you were, Jono. The funny thing is so I'm not. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm not particularly familiar with Henry Kissinger. I'm not a big. I don't know if he's in politics or what.
You're not a big Cold War guy.
Listen,
Yeah.
I'm zooming in from Cambodia right now. They are just rioting in the streets with joy.
The problem the Thunder have this year, it wasn't Kissinger, it was Giddy fucking her.
It was- Damn it.
You can make the worst jokes because it's such a bad dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. The reason I found out that Henry Kissinger passed away was not because his name was trending, but R.I.P. Bozo was trending, and I got real sad. I got real sad that the clown from Chicago died.
Oh yeah.
If you could throw a ping pong ball into 4 buckets in a row, then you get to overthrow a democracy in another country.
So I clicked on R.I.P. Bozo, and I was like, "Oh, it's just Henry Kissinger," which I honestly I thought he was a poet.
He does sound like Kipling or something.
Yeah, right. Like, oh, what are you reading? I'm just reading Kissinger. I think he wrote Hatchet, didn't he?
Pentagon Papers, second volume.
So Henry Kissinger passed away, and again, I'm not familiar with his work or what he's known for or anything, but I do know, as a Titans fan, there's a Henry I wish I could kiss. Injure. All right. And his name is Derek Lamar Henry.
I feel like I might
Jr.
have stepped on this joke by making a way worse version of the same joke.
Henry
over under 1.5 versions of this joke.
right. Take that, hammer the over, honestly.
Yeah.
Henry Kissinger, as Kyle said, he was 100 when he died. So this one's simple. And I don't even know if Henry Kissinger is a part of pop culture or not, but this is my pop culture bet of the week. Does Derrick Henry go over 100 yards this week?
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Is it
What-
total
is-
or is that
is it-
rushing?
What's the
You know what? I'm gonna
forecast
say
in Vermont?
let's go total yards because his offensive line is absolutely abysmal this year. So we'll go total yards, rushing and receiving.
And passing.
Does he go over 100? And passing. Yeah, that's a good point.
He's
honestly.
due for one of those weird jump passes.
Yeah.
He's probably the best quarterback on the Titans right now, and that includes Will Levis. So, but that's not a knock at Will Levis. That's just a testament to Derrick Henry and how much I love him.
You know, I'm reading Henry
so-
Kissinger's website here, and Jono, you're wrong about some stuff. On henrykissinger.com, he says he's a respected political mind. He literally has henrykissinger.com. How insane is that?
Oh no.
Also, how ready do you think the obits were?
Oh, they have to like they were typed out on actual typewriters that like they
Yeah, yeah.
like there's a file they're literally dusting off right now.
There's like obits that they had to shuffle aside to put the Bronco chase in when OJ was getting away, and they're like, okay, well this one we can just put this in the file.
Yeah, his are on microfilm. That's how like long they've been stored. How many voodoo dolls finally get to get thrown away? That like they're gonna be like Christmas trees.
I need to know how he died because this is gonna be like when Steve Irwin got killed by a stingray, and
Right.
all the people who wanted to kill Henry Kissinger are gonna be like, a fucking heart attack got him.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Yeah.
like us with organized efforts.
What if he like fell down the stairs at a Black Friday sale?
His obit is so old. Henry Kissinger's obit was so old. It was written by J.D. Salinger.
There you go, Austin.
There you go. Yeah.
Look, Jimmy Carter outlived Henry Kissinger, and I think that we're ready to just close the page on that entire era. I hope Jimmy Carter builds the casket.
Hey, Carter, hardly know her.
I bet. Well, I mean, honestly, like he probably saw that Rosalind Carter died last week and was like, "Well, now I have one less like person to like try to fuck over Jimmy Carter."
Yeah.
It's like he had his one shot, took a shot. What a piece of thing.
Okay, well, I cannot believe that's so funny. I thought it was for sure fake. I can't believe I didn't believe that he would die. That's how much
like
he
we
won't die.
were like, no way he could die.
He's only 100.
He's living to 150.
He's only 100 and has lived horribly. So how would he die?
Yeah.
All right, John. Now you've got $1,000. Remember, allocate across however you want, and let us know once again which one is your lock. You are allowed to parlay multiple ones together. It's a 1.6. This is from No Garden Sorts to 2.6 multiplier, depending on the parlay that you do.
Got it. All right. Well. All right. Go through them one more time.
We have over under 1.5 mentions the Super Bowl one, 13 or 30, 13 or below, or 30 and above scoring. Will the Chargers charger? Hardly know her, which is over under 3.5 wins for the teams Austin mentioned. Over under 3.5 wins picked by Austin's 2-year-old, and then over under 100 total yards for Derek Kissinger. I'd rather be running Henry.
All right. Wow.
Austin, I think you actually we have to say this you neglected to mention it's not just rest in peace bozo, it's rest in piss bozo that's trending worldwide.
I was wondering why people were I just figured that was like a Chicago thing, that's what they do.
Right. That's what they say on St. Patrick's Day in Chicago.
When famous clowns die in Chicago, they just lay them down to rest in piss in a back alley.
All right, so $1,000, whatever you'd like to do.
Okay. Can I do like a parlay and bet one of them individually?
Sure.
Yeah, you can. You just have to know in advance that
we're like no.
Yeah.
You just have to know that in advance that Kyle and I have no idea how to tally that up, but we will give you a score at know.
Or like, can I do like one where it's like I bet the over on this, but I also parlay the under with something else?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. All right, then I'll spread it out that way. Let's do 150 on under for the Super Bowl one mentions. Like I think like they're definitely going to bring it up, but like the real question is like, would they bring it up twice? Which you know what, man, that's gonna be tough. What time is that game?
That's the Sunday night game
out here. Yeah.
Oh man,
it's not Collinsworth though, right? Isn't he like? Or no, he no-showed last weekend. Is he gonna be back this weekend?
Yeah, he should be back. He was off Sunday night because he did the Thanksgiving game, so they gave him the rest of the weekend off. Which
I've been telling people he no-showed.
If it's gonna be prime time, like a standalone Sunday night game, I'm actually gonna go over on that one. I think they will mention it twice.
Oh, okay. The over. Okay.
Over.
Still 150?
Yeah, still 150.
The way I picture it is like they have their package and they mention it, and then the Chiefs run like a weird
Yeah.
HB toss play, and then they're like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
yeah.
that reminds me of the Power
Yeah.
Trap 65 right that Hank Straight." You know what I mean? He like would like do something
Yeah.
like that and
Or
mention
some
it.
reference to the weather or Lambo or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, yeah. The game being in Lambeau, I think, makes all the difference on that
Yeah.
one.
Like they love to bring up the history of that field. Where
Yeah,
was Super Bowl one played? Do you know, Kyle?
I don't. Probably.
I think it was in Los Angeles. I think it was at the L.A. Coliseum. I'm pretty sure it
Hmm.
was covered by 2 TV networks. I do know that.
One of them was PBS.
Oh yeah, it was. It was played at the Coliseum.
Wow. Um. All right. So then the next one is that the charging it one?
We have 13 going on 30 and Charger.
I'm gonna take the more will go under 13. There's a lot of real like shit teams playing this week. And like playing each other too. So it's
Yeah.
like they're gonna like
Defenses have been strong this year too. Like
Yeah,
teams
yeah.
have been struggling to score in the red zone.
And there's no quarterbacks left. So
There was a half this year where the Chiefs didn't score. That should tell you
There
how
were
much
3
offenses
halves
are
this
struggling.
year.
Yeah, like I think
second
Seriously?
halves in-
It's 3?
3 games in a row they didn't score in the second half until last week.
Oh my gosh, they sound like the Titans.
yeah. Like yeah, there's only like 3 games where I think any team has even a chance at going over 30.
How much you want to put on that?
Let's put 250 on that one.
Okay. You're at $400.
All right, so I'm gonna do the Charger one. I will bet that I'm gonna put $100 on the Chargers not charging because they are playing the dismal Bailey Zappi and or Mac Jones led Patriots. But in addition to that, I want to parlay 100 or $200 bet. This is like almost hedging, where the Chargers do charger and the hardly knowers are under.
Okay.
If the Chargers do charger it, then like there's no other teams that are gonna win. Like
That's good. That is like a sneaky method right there.
yeah, like the Commanders will lose to the Dolphins, the Panthers will lose to the Bucks, the 49 like the only like competitive game besides for them is like the 49ers over the Eagles, and that's like a coin flip. So it's like I think if the Chargers do charger it, then like for sure it's going under with the hardly knowers.
Okay.
So how many?
And then do you want to make any of those first 3 bets, or I guess 4 technically with the parlay? Any of them your lock?
Oh, what was the second bet we did? Oh, the under 13s. Yeah, that I'll make that my lock.
Okay.
And I want to bet Derek. How much money do I have left?
You have $500 left.
Well, I think but I already bet. I bet there was like.
Sorry.
Yeah,
You have
$300
$700. You have $700. $300 left.
Okay, I'm gonna bet 100 each, or I guess I don't need to bet on the hardly knowers if I already parlayed that one, right?
Right.
So I'll put 150, or I'll put 100 on Henry going over 100. I don't think he will, but I also want to bet on him beating Henry.
Last time I thought a guy would go over 100, he couldn't do it, and now he's dead.
You know,
that was just an emotional bet, though. That was your like,
2, 3,
no,
4, 5, 6,
your prayer candles were betting on him to live over.
this bet's really gonna suck if like Derrick Henry gets to 100 yards and then just dies
by napalm and out of nowhere.
yeah.
So we got 200 left. Is that right?
Yeah,
To go on
yes.
Austin's
On your,
2-year-old's.
Yeah.
And what were her bets again?
She took the Seahawks over Cowboys, so the underdog. Titans over Colts, underdog. Saints over Lions, underdog. Packers over Chiefs, underdog. Patriots over Chargers, idiot. The Bagels over the Jaguars, underdog. Steelers over Cardinals is the only favorite. She took the Commanders over Dolphins and Buccaneers over Panthers. So she took 2 favorites. Does she get over 3.5?
Get over 3.5. Okay.
Of 9 games.
of 9 games. Yeah, I'm gonna go over. Like she's too much of a pure innocence to get anything less than that right. Like it's such a weird tossed up week too, because there's so many like teams that are in just complete disarray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like or trap games, you never know.
I know it's a weird futures bet, but does she live to be 100?
You could parlay it if you want, honestly. She has been watching football her entire life. Her second day on Earth, she watched Titans Steelers game, and
Wow.
I think that really set her
Started
up
from
for
the
success.
bottom, now she's here.
Yeah.
She's still at the bottom because she does watch a lot of.
It's
Titans
just you
games with me.
explaining what scoregami is to a 2-day-old. You're like, well, when neither team is traditionally good.
Right. It's hard to describe scoregami to her when the Titans don't score.
Right.
So
She's like, Dad, has 2-0 ever been a game?
in my house, we just call it gami.
Did you like name her anything after like the Titans or anything? Is she the Music City Miracle or like what do you?
So a lot of there's a joke amongst people that follow me online that her name is Derek Henrietta. But no, her name's just Kennedy.
Okay.
Yet another guy who lived
Thanks for the
way
assassination
too long.
Yeah, like the Kissinger.
I'm just a real big fan of the expressway here in Chicago. That's what it was. My next daughter's going to be named Eisenhower.
This is my stepson, Lakeshore Drive.
Yeah, this is Dan Ryan.
Could you imagine that as a name? Well, hey, Jono, we'll let you know how you end up. You just got to let us know if the Chargers charger the game away. We trust you to be honest about it.
Oh.
And thank you so much for being here. If there's anything you want people to find you, follow you, listen to you, let them know.
Yeah, I'm at Jono Zalay on pretty much everything. It's Jono and then Zalay. It's pretty tricky to spell, but I'm sure once you get Jono in there, it'll probably fill out the rest.
Jono, do you surf?
I do. Well, not regularly, but yeah. Why do you see the surfboard in my background?
Well, no, because everything's so blurry. You're so rich. The reason is I feel like Jono is the perfect surfing name. Like that. Like I feel like I've watched like 2 documentaries on surfers named Jono before.
Yeah. Well, it is an Australian name too. Like it's like a lot of like mine's Hungarian in origin, but like the Australians are like the only other country that has like Jono as a nickname for John's name.
Yeah.
And so like Australia is obviously a big surfing country. So yeah, it's definitely that.
Well,
and I am
dig it,
wearing
dude.
a like Maui surf shirt.
Yeah,
Right.
It's like a Padres trucker hat and a tie-dye shirt.
Yeah.
Like, why do you ask?
Yeah. I was like, I'm looking up at my surfboard right now. It's directly on the computer.
He's asking because it's falling.
Yeah.
Well, hey, thank you so much for being here. Best of luck to you. I think what's our leader at right now? 1,600, something like that.
1,500.
1,500.
Jamel Johnson.
So you can get in there. I think the parlay can help you out. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Another big shout out to Jono. We're gonna roll through our bets here real quick and get you guys out of here. Austin, I'm gonna put $100 on or $200 on the over of Super Bowl 1 mentions.
Ooh, okay.
I'm going to put $200 on the over 30. I don't know why. I just think it'll be like 2-1.
Yeah.
Or
The more I'm
3-2.
thinking about that, my first thought was to go under, but the more I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking
Sometimes when these quarterbacks are all bad, it turns out to be 35-32.
yeah, and all it takes is 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
Quick math.
To get, I'm gonna say the Chargers are not going to charge her. There's something about saying it that makes it not happen. So I'm gonna put $200 there. I'm gonna put $100 on the under for hardly know her. I'm gonna put $200 or $300 on the under for your daughter's bets, and that's gonna be my lock, and that's where my money's going. I don't want to bet on Henry Kissinger. We can't speak ill of the dead. So, and now that you've heard me say that, don't listen to the podcast before this.
Okay, I am. Oh man, this is tough. Okay, I am gonna go with the under for Super Bowl mentions, and I'm putting $300 on that. I think they will mention it once, but I don't. Oh,
A lot of our
oh,
Chiefs
gosh.
props have hit the under this year. Have you noticed that? They haven't played into the storylines as heavily as
Right.
like, the sports media would make you think the actual broadcasts are going to.
Yeah, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I'm leaning towards the under. However, let me ask you this: if they show just Bart Starr, that technically doesn't count. It's got to be about
that's
the
just a
game,
guy.
right? It's got to be about the matchup. Okay. All right. All right. Then I'm sticking under 300 Super Bowl mentions. Give me the over 30. 13 going on 30. One of Jennifer Garner's finest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put $200 on the over 30. I think I think there's gonna be like 4 teams or something that'll be over 30, and I think there'll be like 3 teams under 13. So
How much on that one?
$200, and that's if they hit 13, right?
13.
That counts, and if they
yes,
hit
13
30, that
counts, and 30
and 30
counts.
Okay, all right, cool. Will the Chargers this game? I'm saying no. They're playing the Patriots. I think the Patriots could Charger.
Sure.
So if the bet was
Does
there's a
anyone
Charger
Charger
in the
this game?
game, yeah,
Right.
then I would say yes. But
Right.
the Chargers will not Charger. So I'm saying no
I
on
would
the
say
300.
a good way to describe charging a game is if you're watching the highlight recap of your team losing and Chris Berman goes,
Whoop. Yeah. And then I'm going. I think I'm going to go a couple of $50
how much
bets.
new you want? How much you putting on that?
Oh,
Chargers?
300 for
Right.
the. Actually, no. Screw that. I'm going. I'm going. Sorry, I'm going to replace my Super Bowl mentions to 200. Okay.
Okay.
So what is that? That's
So you're at 400 between the first two.
700. Okay,
5,
so
6,
now
7
I'm going
there.
$100 for my last 3 bets.
Okay.
I'm going to go 100 on the under for Hardly Knowers. I'm going to go 100 on the under for my daughter. Look, I love her, but she doesn't know ball yet. And I'm going to take the under. This is a hedge my bet special. I'm taking the under on Derrick Henry total yardage.
The Austin makes
Do I-
Austin feel good one way or the other bet.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
All right, so that's what I'm doing there. My lock will be on. I'm gonna make the Chargers charging my lock.
Wow.
$300. That's a big lock.
We got a
I'm
lot of money
scared.
out here. Unfortunately for us, we lost one of our near and dear listeners this week. One of the biggest fans of the show, Henry Kissinger, is no longer around. So if you guys are listening, rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast.
Please
Go find
honestly.
Cork Bats on YouTube. Henry notoriously was not good with iPhones that didn't control large bombs or the displacement of poor families in small, unwealthy nations. So thank you guys.
The wild thing was he subscribed to this podcast on phonograph. That's
did.
that's what I don't.
He did.
How
I
it's
actually
really,
would
truly
print every
remarkable.
one and send it to him. He listened to one of those big phonographs that looked like an Andrew Bird album cover.
He's like, oh, you listen to Doing Lines? The book is so much better.
He would listen with one of those big ear hold-up things Looney Tunes would do to hear better. Thank you guys so much for listening. At Cork Bats, have a wonderful day.
Love you. Good luck on your bets.